it comes to real estate, Haney Realty and Property Management is the team you can trust. Our extensive knowledge of the market and industry allows us to help our clients with any real estate need. We know how to get results. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, or rent, let us put our expertise to work for you. Call us today at 931-347-9150 or visit HaneyRealtyPM.com to learn more. Haney Realty and Property Management, your best friend in real estate.
The Natural Gas Department of Pulaski is here to help you save money. Natural gas is safe, efficient, and cost-effective. It's up to 50 to 60% less expensive than electricity for home heating. Plus, it's clean and efficient, so you can feel good about your choice. Call us today for service or visit our website to learn more. Make the switch to natural gas and start saving today.
Southern Tennessee Regional Health System. Pulaski is here to help you be well. Our mission is to make our community healthier, and we're your community hospital. We're committed to providing trusted care when you need it most. From wellness checks to emergencies, we're here for you and your family. Visit us today at southerntennessee.com or call 931-363-7531.
If you're looking for a new job, let M&M Staffing be your guide. With over 20 years of experience, we know how to connect great people with great opportunities. We work with over 80 companies, so we're sure to find the perfect job for you. Our team is dedicated to helping you succeed, and our high customer satisfaction rate proves it. Ready to get started? Visit us at mnmstaffing.net or give us a call today at 931-347-4255.
New York Life is a company that's for the people who make a difference.
For over 50 years, PES Energize has been proudly powering our community in Pulaski and Giles County, Tennessee. We're more than just an electric utility. We also offer internet, TV, and phone services. Our commitment to our customers and our community is what sets us apart. We're dedicated to providing safe, reliable, and innovative services. At PES Energize, we believe that serving you is a privilege. We're here for all your energy needs. Visit PESEnergize.com or call us today.
Traffic problems, one in front of Walmart and one in front of Shell Station on Mine Hill Road. And just that in a work session, and then what we can do to recover some of our costs as far as covering grades.
Sounds fine.
Trades and what's that? Traffic problems where?
In front of Walmart, right there at the gas station,
And Minor Hill Highway.
and Shell Station in front of Shell Station there. What we can do to prevent accidents there.
Chris, you slow down and get.
Do what?
You slow down and get.
Good afternoon. Today, Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. I'd like to call today's meeting of the board, mayor and alderman. And please join the rise, Mr. Massey in prayer. Paul, Mrs. Miles, and pledge.
Let us pray. Precious Holy Father, ruler, maker of all things, Father, for the living or non-living. Father, we always like to start off this meeting with a prayer. But first, we want to thank you. Thank you for being here, right here amongst us, Father. We also want to thank you for our materialistics as well as spiritual blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for that, Father. But we also want to thank you for this great country that we recognize as the United States of America, the greatest country on this planet, where we can exercise all those freedoms, worship you in any way we feel fit without being penalized and prosecuted. Father, we always want to thank you for the brave men and women who fight to keep this country safe so that we can exercise those freedoms. And we thank you for that, Father. Father, we want to thank you for the citizens who voted us in as their elected leaders. And we want to take this time to thank you for allowing them to put their trust in us to make fair and just decisions. And as we go forward today in this meeting, Father, we pray that we do just that and it be well pleasing in your sight. In the name of the Father and Son, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. Thank you, Mrs. Miles.
Mr. Mayor, could we veer from our agenda just a moment? Miss Tammy and Miss Janice.
Do we aim?
Just come around front.
Oh, good. We can just talk to you all. First off, we want to thank you for your service in this commission. And secondly, we want to thank you for starting the Community Advisory Council on Inclusive Recognition and Acknowledgement and having that vision for our community and for entrusting us to be part of that organization. Janice and I have had a really wonderful experience getting to know each other, and we feel like there's great things on the horizon for this community going forward. It was a big project. Ricky, thank you so much for your support. Mayor Brindley, all of you. It just meant a great deal to us to be able to come together as all people, not as white, not as black, but all people, to recognize and acknowledge. And that's the heart of this, and that's what we want to carry forward, is that it is an inclusive.
Yes, it is.
And it's great that you come out of it with new friends. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So
It is awesome.
yeah, absolutely. So we'd like to give you a little thank you note for that puts that in writing, but and also the breakfast was lovely as well. We enjoyed that morning of it.
Good.
And yeah, so we're excited to share. Now we're just going into the community and trying to reach the young people, of course, and share with them about the story of the monument and why it's valuable and why history is valuable to the young people. And for all of us, I challenge you to go down into your generations and share the stories of your families, your own histories, and keep that going and have them be inquisitive and learn. My grandmother passed a few years ago, and I'm grateful I had the last years with her to ask her questions about our family. And we get busy and caught up in our lives, and history is important, and your heritage is important, so share it. Thank you.
Thank y'all for your time. Thank you. There's a lot of people, every time you drive by, you see, lately, there's been someone at the statue, so it's been, that park never looks so good. Okay, the first item of business is to approve the minutes from last regular meeting. If there's no additions or corrections, the minutes will stand approved as made. All right, our next item on number 2 is to receive and file electric, water, natural gas reports.
I move that we receive and file these reports.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Keith and a second by Mr. Massey. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next, do we have any concerned citizens' remarks regarding agenda items for today? All right. The next item, number 4, is to consider 2023-2024 appropriations on second and final reading. Mr. Harrison.
Okay, Giles County Public Library, 137,800, senior citizens, 22,500, Giles County Chamber of Commerce, 31,500, New Canaan, 2,000, Child Development, 5,000, South Central Human Resource Agency, 1,300, Boys and Girls Club, 9,000, E911, 112,000, Economic Development Commission, 53,800, Historic Downtown Pulaski, 35,000, Kids Place, 5,000, the Shelter, 5,000, Giles County Schools, 200,000, the Pouring Spot, 2,000, Humane Association, 2,500, Giles County Fire and Rescue, 10,000, Community RFD, 1,000, Giles County Veterans Allowance, 2,000, for a total appropriation of $637,400.
I move that we approve these appropriations as read.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Massey and a second by Mr. Bryant. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant.
Aye.
Brindley.
Aye. Item number 5,
Yeah.
Okay, public hearing related to the 2023-2024 general government budgets, natural gas and water and sewer budgets. Mr. Harrison.
Ladies and gentlemen, we worked diligently putting these budgets together. I asked for your input on it, and department heads' input. Also included in this is solid waste collection, solid waste disposal, and drug fund, which is kind of included in the general budget, but they have separate budgets. So there's actually 6 budgets we'll be addressing today. The best thing I can say is we're doing it without a property tax increase. We only had one. I've been here going on 34 years. We've had one property tax increase in 34 years. And that was a long time ago. So, we try to be as tight as we can with public dollars. We try to make sure they're used wisely and for projects that will benefit all citizens. With that, we'll open the public hearing.
No.
No.
Okay.
There's no.
Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and go on to the next agenda item.
Item number, do we vote?
We go to item number 6.
Okay. But I don't make a motion or anything?
No, we just close the public
Gotcha.
hearing. Yeah.
But item number 6, consider an ordinance on second and final reading relative to the 2023-24 budget.
I don't know what else to say that we said during work sessions in our last meeting. We do have a cost of living increase for all city employees. We've got several major projects this next year. Some of them we're already starting on, but we're going to be working on the wastewater treatment plant, the water treatment plant. Everybody sees the people over on East Jefferson and won't know what we're working on the street. That's actually an I&I project. They're putting in a new sewer line, and when they dig down, they've got to connect the connections to the new line. So that's where you see the holes in the street out there. They actually work pretty good as speed bumps right now until we get them fixed. But we're working on building a new hangar at the airport. We're going to look at taking down the Afritain building. We're going to start work very soon on the renovation of City Hall. We've got, I think, 4 new police cars in the budget next year. So we've got we're going to have a very busy year next year.
I move that we approve our budgets on second and final reading.
Second.
Well, we have a motion by Mr. Keith and a second by Mr. Bryant. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Herschel.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant.
Aye.
Brindley.
Aye. Item number 7 is public hearing relative to amending the sewer use ordinance. Mr. Harrison?
Ladies and gentlemen, this came down from the state. They changed the parameters that people can discharge effluent into our system before we can treat it. And periodically they do this. I think there was one thing that they wanted to change a outdated table to a new table. But this is all stuff that came down from the state. It's been reviewed by our engineer, and I recommend this is something we need to do.
So we open the hearing.
Yeah. So at this time, with your permission, Mayor, we'll open the public hearing on the amendment to the sewer use ordinance.
Yes. Seeing that we have none.
Close the public hearing.
I'm surprised they didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, public hearing closed on item number 7. So would you go down to 8? We don't have, all right. Item number 8 is consider ordinance on second and final reading relative to amending the sewer use ordinance.
I move that we approve the ordinance relative to amending the sewer use. Second and final read.
I second that.
Right, we have a motion made by Mr. Bryant and we have a second by Mr. Massey. Is there any other discussion?
Make it go slow.
We got a bunch of them today.
If there's no other discussion, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant. Brindley.
You understood.
Yeah.
See, we need a 3-minute explanation now.
You're calling on the right one.
Yeah. I'm learning today.
I'll go and give you some background on item number 9. We're fixing to have a public hearing relative to the annexation of property at 1320 Riley Hill Road. Riley Hill Road is a road on east of town where you turn in to go to Meadowbrook subdivision. Meadowbrook subdivision, which lies on the right-hand side of Riley Hill Road, is inside the corporate limits. And actually, the corporate limits starts on the left-hand side of the road. So right now, none of Riley Hill Road is inside the city, and obviously the property on the east side is not in also. The gentleman that has a durable power of attorney over this property has requested to come into the city because they want to be able to hook the city sewer. He's got Mr. Hayes. I think the sewer's available. They can do that. They'll make him a tap, then he'll hook onto it. We would provide police services, fire services, garbage collection, and other city services for that. And this is a residential annexation, and the only way we can annex residential, because the moratorium has been for several years in the state of Tennessee for annexation of residential, the people have to request to come in. So years gone by, we could see here's a subdivision out there, it's right on the outskirts, let's annex it. Y'all could say, okay, let's do it, and we could proceed with it. But due to this moratorium that's been on now 5 or 6 years maybe, it can only come in by the request of the property owner. And in this particular instance, it is the request of the property owner.
Do we need to make a motion to approve that?
Well, we still got to do the public 30 seconds.
The advantage of taking this in also is that with
It's
the.
12:15.
I'll just make up stuff.
So with being 12:15, with your permission, Mayor, we'll open the public hearing on the annexation of the Riley Hill Road property.
So moved.
Anybody want to comment? Seeing no
Y'all
comments.
could help us out here.
Seeing no comments, we'll close the public hearing and move on to item number 10.
To consider ordinance on second and final reading relative to the annexation of the above property. Mr. Harrison.
And see, we still got about 5
See?
minutes left.
Well, can we go to the report from the city hall after this?
As Mr. Key says, the advantages is bringing in, we will start collecting city property tax on that piece of property. And also it adds to our population, which is something we like to see grow. We do get state share taxes based on population. It's a whopping about $110 a year per person. So it's not a whole lot.
And there's some undeveloped property that adjoins this property that eventually, hopefully might get developed and become part of the city also. I move that we consider this ordinance on second and final reading, chain access property.
Second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Keith and a second by Mr. Massey. Plenty of time for discussion. But if no other discussion, roll call vote.
Massey? Miles?
Aye.
Worship?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
Everybody pause.
Gentry?
30 seconds, we got it.
Brian? Friendly?
Aye.
Now we got about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We could.
Then we got a 12:25.
We're gonna have the public hearing in about 3 minutes, relative to amending the water and sewer rate structure. As we're working on this year's budget, it became apparent that we're gonna need a rate increase, and primarily due to the bids we received at the wastewater treatment plant. We started this project three and a half years ago. It was estimated to be about $4 million, and then COVID hit. It came in about $10.5 million. This is not uncommon, what we're seeing across the country right now either. With the COVID money going out, people are getting money, they're hiring engineers, they're putting pipe in the ground, they're ordering things, and everything's hard to get. Scott Newton was here a couple of years ago, and some transformers, it takes 2 years lead time to get them in right now. So you heard about supply chain issues, those are not solved. Things of copper, they're talking about expanding the internet through Giles County. They can get the fiber optics, but the little metal connectors, they're having trouble getting those. I think at one time there was trouble getting poles.
Poles and chips. Anything that's got to do with
Anything with a chip or something like that. So it's something that will eventually rectify itself, but it's something we're dealing with. We did also, due to COVID, all these other things I talked about, our chemical costs went up by like 40%, and we use chemicals in treating water and wastewater. So, we hate to increase our rates, but sometimes it's necessary. Water and sewer is required to at least break even. If you have a decrease in your net balance for, I think, 2 or 3 years, the state will come in and they'll settle. All I've ever been told is you don't want that to happen. So we're doing something that we don't want to do, but if we don't do it, the state will come in and they'll even be higher than what we.
They don't want to come back.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Just real quick, explain the difference between enterprise fund and general government.
The biggest difference from enterprise fund accounting and governmental fund accounting is enterprise fund accounting has to be run like you would run a business. So you have to account for depreciation of your assets. So all these projects we're talking about, we're doing, when we get through with this, we're going to add about $18 million on our books for assets. Some of those we can depreciate over 30 years, but I don't have my calculator handy, but you do the math. That's a lot of depreciation costs that we have to bring that money in to fund depreciation, even though it's cash. There's all kinds of arguments and topics about it. The people that are involved in utility districts, they understand it, but it's something we have to do, is to fund depreciation. But other than that, the accounting is about the same except for funding of depreciation.
All right. Item number 11, we'll open a public hearing relative to amending the water and sewer rate structure. Mr. Harris.
Call the public hearing into order. If anybody want to speak for or against, or Tammy?
You feel like I
People in the room just got full today. This is
was
exciting stuff.
Seeing no comments, we will declare the public hearing duly held and close the public hearing and move on to the next item.
Yes, sir. Item number 12 is considered an ordinance on second and final reading relative to amending the water and sewer rate structure.
Basically, what I did is I upped the minimum bills on, I think, residential by $3 a month for sewer, $3 for water, $5 on commercial, and I think $30 on industrial. Anything over the minimum bill is going to be a 17% increase just across the board. And the utility districts, if they don't have a minimum bill, theirs will be a 17% increase. And that's hopefully going to bring in enough to get us by. When I say get us by, we're not really sure how the depreciation costs are going to work out until it all gets put in the ground. Because some of these projects, as you remember, it's going to be a year and a half before they're completed due to some of the lead time on some of the projects. So, as Mr. Key said, you know, sometimes it's easier. The old saying, if you cut the dog's tail off, you cut it all at once, a little bit of time. I went against my normal strategy and I did a little bit of time this time because I don't really know what the depreciation cost would be. And I don't want to set a big increase that's not needed for maybe 2 years from now. But we will be doing a more detailed rate study, working with engineers, consultants to get y'all better information to make better decisions as we travel down this path.
Well, we've had good response with our engineering team.
We have, and the thing about it is, once we get a project in the ground, we can rely on them. I will give you an update. One of the projects we're working on is with the telemetry for the water and gas meters. When the gas meters came in, the original, I think was, I forget, 300 or 400, and then Drew added some more. So anyway, ended up getting 700 meters for the gas, and when they all came in, they were wrong gas meters. So Drew and I and the engineer had a discussion the other day, and basically what we tell the engineer, not the engineer's contractor, is those your meters, you take them back, we'll order the meters and we'll put them in the ground ourselves. So we'll save some money that way, but it's going to be a lead time again, 6 to 9 months before we get the gas meters in. So we'll have to continue to read those meters till we get it in. But we'll get in what we want for our system. There is a connection. The threading device is different to hook this gas meter to what our piping requires. And they said there is a fix we could order. And we didn't like the idea of this little fix that we didn't know about. We'd rather have the correct meter. So we decided to delete that from the contract. So y'all will be getting a change order once they work that up, and I'll bring it back to you.
I move that we adopt this ordinance on second and final reading, amending the water and sewer rate structure.
I'll second.
All right, a motion made by Mr. Keith and a second by Mr. Bryant. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey, Miles,
Aye.
Worsham, Keith,
Aye.
Gentry, Bryant, Brindley.
Aye. 12:25.
Good.
We're good here.
Okay, we need to call in, order a public hearing relative to amending the sanitation fees. We have not had an increase in our garbage fees, what we all refer to them locally, in 10 years. Obviously, you know, we can't survive without a rate increase. You know, biggest cost we have is we have to pay disposal fees to our provider, which is Waste Management over Chapel Hill, Tennessee. And then just our trucks running around town. I mean, everybody knows the cost of diesel fuel. If you go by and look at it, it's I think at one time it's around $4 or $5 a gallon. So our operational fees go up. The size of the city is somewhat constant. We had a little increase, but it's just time for a rate increase for our solid waste collection department.
Hearing's open.
Yeah, the hearing's open.
I do have a comment on that. I do. So that would be rate increase for city, like for the dumping of our trash
Yes.
on our businesses on the square. I would be fine with that personally. If there was a possible way, do we have a street cleaner in in Pulaski?
We do.
So when the trash truck stops in front of our business, all of the icky water that's inside of it dumps out onto the parking right where we are. And that west to east blow of wind blows that nice smell right into our businesses there.
The streets, the street cleaner we've got is basically a vacuum truck.
Okay.
So it doesn't work. Everybody thinks an old flushing truck. EPA does not allow you to use those anymore because the oils and grease on the streets go into our streams, and the Clean Water Act, it's illegal to do that anymore.
Okay.
All garbage trucks are designed to leak because when they compress it and there's water in there, the message to get out to people is secure your lid on your dumpster. Basically, a lot of that happens after a heavy rain where people don't secure their lids. We do have some commercial accounts that have large dumpsters that don't have lids on them. And
it's not the independent trash cans, it's when the truck stops and compresses it. It all squishes all that water, that icky water runs right where we step. And of course, and I know you can't do anything about that as far as the truck's design. But I just wondered, and you answered my question about
we can't use the water for cleaning the streets like we did 20 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
If there's no more,
we'll close the public hearing and move on to consideration of the ordinance.
Yes, sir. Item number 14 is consider ordinance on second and final reading relative to amending the sanitation fees.
And we've discussed that. I think a motion and a second, we'll act on it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance on second and final reading to amending the sanitation fee.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Bryant and a second by Mrs. Miles. Or is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant.
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye. Item number 15 is consider application for parade permit for UT Southern for 8/21/23. Mr. Harrison.
And this is their party on the square they have every year with the incoming new students. It's going to be from block off the square at 3:30, but the event time is 5 to 8 p.m. And the application is in order.
Move
I move that we, go ahead, Rick.
Well,
I move we approve this parade permit for UT Southern.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Massey and a second by Mr. Keith. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant.
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye. Item number 16 is City Hall renovation bids.
I did a little spreadsheet on this to maybe help do this. If you go through and look at the bids we received and the other fees that we will have to pay the management team. It came in at $1,043,960. Included in that, they had $6,527 in building fees. Obviously, we're not going to charge ourselves a building permit. And there's also $30,000 contingency. So that brings down the cost of $1,007,433. The remaining engineer's fee from Lyle, Martin, and Cook and Martin, the architects that were working on this, is $16,000. And that'd bring it to $1,023,433. I had budgeted next year's budget, $1,032,000. So that leaves a difference of $8,567, not included in the fees that we got from that. We do want to put some lighting outside and some electrical. I talked with Robbie. They were talking about putting in a $5,000 allowance for that. So that's what I put in. So I figured really we're going to be under budget, $3,567. And so we're going to award that to the various contractors that bid on it, and hopefully get to work here pretty soon.
Sounds good.
That's good, Mr. Harris. You have to really work on that then.
Yeah, there it is.
If y'all would, if we get a motion second, adopt a resolution confirming that. I think last meeting y'all granted me and the construction management authority to award, but this will codify it in our resolution book, because when auditors come in, that's the first thing they do is go through the books and look at that. So if we adopt a resolution awarding that bid for that amount, and then we'll attach this to it also that will explain to the auditors.
I'll make a motion that we approve the bid that for renovation of City Hall. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
We have a motion made by Mr. Bryant and a second by Mr. Gentry. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant.
Aye.
Brindley.
Aye. Item number, let's see here. Well, 17, I'm about skipped over one. Open bids on trucks for natural gas department. Mr. Harrison.
Okay, we've got that in the budget coming up, and we thought we'd go and open the bids because next week we want to check for them. That'd be good. We got one bid in from Murray Chevrolet, and they bid $41,170. Another bid from Sharp Motor Company. And they bid $40,470.
I think that's the Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it mixed up there.
I got them backwards, excuse me. Murray Chevrolet was $40,470, and Sharp Motor Company was $41,170.
Is that per truck?
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make sure.
That's before.
That was a no-brainer, but I just want to make sure that
If
what you read there.
it's for two trucks, I'll take it.
I move that we refer these bids to our city administrator just to review and verify that they meet our needs and with authority to award.
I second that.
We have a motion made by Mr. Keith and a second by Mr. Massey. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry. Bryant.
Aye.
Brindley.
Aye. Item number 18 is to adopt a resolution relative to filing the 2021 delinquent taxes.
Okay, Friday is our last day to collect taxes for the year 2022 without penalty. Your 2021 taxes are currently accruing 12% interest. If they're not paid by Friday or shortly after, we'll turn them over to Mary and Andy to go to Chancery Court for collection. Now, a lot of these taxes that are owed are small taxes, $50 to $100. Your court costs are gonna run you about $150 or more. So I'm gonna use this opportunity that I take every year to tell the people, and as Mr. Birdsong would say, in the sound of my weak voice, to come in and pay your taxes before you have to pay this money to Chancery Court for collection. But it's something we're required to do, is to collect these taxes. And we encourage people to come in. We do not take partial payment of taxes, so they'll need to bring in the full amount, hopefully by Friday at 4:30. 4:15 would be better.
I move we adopt the resolution. Filing delinquent taxes.
Second. We have a motion made by Mrs. Miles and a second by Mr. Massey. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry.
Aye.
Bryant.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye. Item number 19 is to discuss the speed humps on West Madison Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I went last week to a meeting at UT Southern. They brought in kind of their, I can share any of this with you all, but their security team that's over all their campuses. Their commissioner at the university came in, also Randy Boyd. They did a ride around tour of the town. They went around to all the anything that associates with the campus, and then they did a walking tour at the university. And so it was a very good thing. They're putting a lot of concentration into safety for the students at the college and the faculty. As you know, and sure in the news, Governor Lee passed some things that were education. I guess K through 12 is getting a lot of money for safety, beefing up more SROs, even different glass doors, things like that. We're really focusing on the safety of the children, and so the college is trying to do the same thing. And we talked, had a lot of discussions. You know, most colleges, well, every one of the University of Tennessee colleges stay on the streets around them. Where we're unique here, we actually own the streets, and they've asked for this speed bump, and it's actually what it would be is a speed hump with a crosswalk on the top of it, is what it would be. And I asked them, is that, make sure that's what they want, and that is what they want. And we've had some discussion with our team as well, our street department, and I think it's UT Southern's a great asset to this town. I think it's something we need to look at. And then even in the future, Mr. Keith brought up in the meeting, as we look at possibly turning that into a school zone. If that's, there's grant funding, we go after and look about lighting and flashing lights, things like that, whatever we could do to make that area safer. But I know personally, I'd love to see us put this speed hump with the crosswalking on this for them.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, okay. I second that.
We're talking about the low hump speed.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's not gonna be a low hump. We're actually working with UT Southern, who's gonna work with UT Knoxville to get a specification on this, because the low humps, like out at Bentley Drive, are only about this tall. A speed hump is a hump, and it comes up and flattens out at the top.
So you have a crosswalk. I don't think it's that tall,
Yeah.
but it's cars go over it. I mean, it's a normal thing, but it has a crosswalk going down the middle of it. That's where you don't want to put a speed bump and then a crosswalk's here, because you're still.
But they're wider too. I mean, they're obviously they're gonna be wide enough for a crosswalk. I think most for state sidewalk projects, sidewalks got to be at least 5 foot. So this is gonna be, a pretty wide crosswalk there.
I don't need to restate my motion
I
then.
was gonna say, do we want to to pass this now, or do we want to wait until we get more information
Well,
from UT about the specifics of what they want?
we know what they want. We want the specification. So
Exactly.
we've gone online and looked at these things and thought if we could buy one out of rubberized, but we think the specification they want, we'll have to get a asphalt contractor come in and build these things. So we want their specifications about the width, height, those type things. But as far as y'all can go ahead and approve it, and once we get the specification, then we'll worry about getting it built. Because it not only building it, it'll have to be striped and signs put up both sides, warning.
But that was my next question. If it's going to be striped, and well, we had talked about it there in front of the cafeteria, walking across.
That's where it is.
Yes. Well, if it's going to be striped, will it have to be wide enough for a crosswalk so they can cross on it,
Yes, ma'am.
on the bump?
Yes.
Okay, so it's more, it's going to be a
ramp up.
I know what the bump looks like. I'm wanting to know how wide it is. A bump is just a little like this, but we're talking about an entire sidewalk, crosswalk across the street, which is different than just a bump. In my perspective, that's why I wanted to ask. Thank you.
We got a motion made by Mr. Bryant, and we have a second
Mr. Massey.
by Mr. Massey. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey. Miles.
Aye.
Worsham. Keith.
Aye.
Gentry. Bryant. Brindley.
We have, I guess, just one thing under old business, the Juneteenth.
Yeah, we talked about, I think at our work session, for future years, adjusting our floating June holiday to a fixed holiday for Juneteenth on June 19th. And I think we should adopt that as a national holiday and make that floating holiday a fixed holiday for Juneteenth.
And as the calendar rises, if that falls on a Saturday, the employees will be off on Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, they'll be off on
the Monday.
I'll make that motion that we do that.
And I second that.
We have a motion made by Mr. Bryant and a second by Mr. Massey. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Massey. Miles.
Aye.
Worsham. Keith. Gentry. Bryant. Brindley.
Anything else under old business before we go into new business?
Yeah, I'm gonna refer back up to when we talked about the drug fund. It's just an idea, and I want, just something for the board to think about going forward. Could we possibly, just a statement, could we possibly look at that, some of the money in that drug fund and use it for some of the families, not say the perpetrator who abused the family or abusing drugs, but could some of that money be used to help the family that's been affected by drugs?
Maybe all that's controlled by state statute, what we can and cannot use it for. I don't think that's in the state statute, but there's state law that covers what that money can and cannot be used for. So our hands are tied on that.
Okay, I just thought I would.
And the other thing is, there's not a whole lot of money there.
Okay.
The fines have, it seems like the amount of money coming in from both drug fund and county court fines over the years have gone down for whatever reason.
Because of the less abuse.
Hopefully we put them all in jail and there's nobody else out there. So that's what I'd like to do.
I think so.
Is anything else under old business? Is that all, Mr. Massey?
Yeah, that's all.
Under new business, July 3rd is Monday. That's our work session meeting. I've had several people reach out to me asking, are we canceling that work session? And so it's the day before the holiday. I know we got a lot of people on vacation that week. So I just wanted to bring it up in this meeting to see what everyone's thoughts was. If we did cancel it, we would go to July 11th and have it right before.
Well, the 11th would be our board meeting.
The 10th, excuse me.
Monday, the 10th. We could have it Monday, the 10th, if you wanted to have it.
There's not much I'm going to be on since we've passed everything. That's why I bring it up at the end, just to make, there's not going to be much on the agenda anyway. So I just, if, is everybody okay with that?
I am.
I move that we move our next work session to Monday the 10th, July 10th.
Second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Keith and a second by Mr. Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Massey.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Worsham.
Aye.
Keith.
Aye.
Gentry. Bryant.
Aye.
Brindley.
Any other things under new business? Just announcement, everyone please, here in town, come to the Freedom Celebration at the Rec Center Saturday night. Park Recreations have worked really hard on it, and I left my sheet in there. But it starts at 5:30. There's a couple of different performers that night, have a full band. There's food trucks, vendors, and then the fireworks show starts at 9 o'clock. And so we're excited to see everyone. Hope everyone can come out to this event.
And
Bring
that
the
will be
family.
on Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
On the 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
If we repeat that again, some people hear the first part, some hear the end of it.
Saturday the 1st. Yeah, and people can start coming and dropping off chairs and everything at 4 o'clock. Hope to see you there.
Bring a fan.
Yeah.
It'll be hot.
If that's it, no other business to come forward today, we'll stand as adjourned.